It's Offside with Hawes and McGuire.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go. It's Offside with Hawes and McGuire. I'm Hawes.
I'm McGuire.
All right. Today is Game 6 of the Ottawa Toronto Maple Leafs playoff thing. So what I'm hoping right now is that we at least get some fucking satisfaction and the Ottawa Senators go to a Game 7.
Be nice.
Okay, so that's where we're going to move on to hockey right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll take the pipeline out west and talk about. So there is no pipeline. Okay, and there never will be. Okay, but we'll take it out west. Okay, and we'll talk about the. We'll stop in spots on the way in Manitoba. We'll stop there, and then we'll move out to Alberta,
Perfect.
and we'll talk about those things. But in the meantime, let's talk about the Big Smoke in Toronto and coming back for Game 6.
Yeah, I think the Big Smoke's here in Ottawa tonight.
Is it tonight?
Big Smoke. Well, yeah, it is tonight. But
Okay.
I mean, the Big Smoke, and so much is that Ottawa's making a lot of fire here right now, charging back, winning a couple games in a row, making a series out of it. The thing is, Chris, it's not just the fact they've won 2 in a row. That's happened a billion times in the NHL. It's how pathetic the Leafs looked last game. And do they have enough? By the time everybody sees this, the results will be known, I'm assuming. So it's going to be very interesting tonight to see which Toronto Maple Leaf team shows up. The poor one or the absolutely brutal one.
Right.
Because frankly, they won 2 out of the first 3 games in overtime anyway. They haven't really looked. We were all sold. We were all told. And I agreed with it. I wrote it and said that this Leaf defense is the best that it's been in the Austin Matthews era. And I don't think that's really changed for me, that thinking. The problem is you got to score to win games. And they got shut out last games. They had a 2-on-0.
Yeah.
They had a 2-on-1 with Matthews.
And they had an umpteen breaks where they had that's one of the Ottawa breakdowns is that they're given a lot of opportunity for those breakaways. You don't get that many, but at the same time they're coming back. They're Ullmark played phenomenal.
He played very well.
I will say this: I am still nervous about what Toronto can do.
Of course.
Okay, but I'm I think that they just took it to them. And, all the talk last night, we played golf last night, and then we had, some pops and dinner stuff. And the big talk was that Marner can't do it in the playoffs. Poor fucking Marner. The poor bastard has been the whipping boy.
Marner, what about Matthews? Where the hell's he been? He's your 69 goal scorer 2 years ago. Where the hell's he been?
Yeah, they may show up tonight.
Yeah, they may. They're 1-13 in elimination games going back to 2018. It's an absolutely staggering record of futility. It absolutely is amazing. And in those losses, that's just to 2018. You can go back a decade before that.
Know.
They have found some of the most creative ways to lose. It's unfreaking believable. Certainly,
they're almost like the Conservatives.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good analogy actually right now, sadly.
Yeah, sadly.
And that's where the Leafs are certainly hanging their hat. I mean, this is, I can't even imagine if they lose this game tonight, they then become or Ottawa would become the 12th team, I believe, to at least lose 3, win 3, not knowing yet, however, Game 7 is going to play out. Just like Edmonton did last year. Edmonton, I believe, became the 11th. Last year, lose 3, won 3, lost Game 7. So what will happen if, in fact, Ottawa does win tonight and force a Game 7? Who knows? But definitely the eyes of the hockey world will be on this matchup tonight. The Battle of Ontario. It's already set on the on the other side. Florida has knocked off Tampa in 5 games.
That's a surprise.
Jump ahead too far. You got anything else to say about Ottawa, Toronto? But
no, I do.
Listen, the Leafs right now. This is all on them. You say the core 4, you can say, I heard Berube's presser. He's trying to deflect it. He's trying to put it on the rest of the guys. And to an extent, that's correct. First of all, I've never seen Morgan Rielly this ineffective. I know he's only one guy, but I mean, he's been such a big part of their team.
To be fair,
totally
he was completely effective in games 1, 2, and 3. I mean, he did very well in those games. He was a force. He scored 2 goals so far in the series. He's
force for me on them has been Tanev. Tanev's been the beast, and to a lesser degree Carlo. I don't know. I haven't seen Riley playing the way that I think he can. To your point, look, they won 3 games.
Yeah,
you got to give them credit. The end of the day, Montreal won 10 straight overtime in '93. After a while, you start saying, well, I guess it's another fluke. I mean, at some point, you just find a way to go to the mat and get it done. And for those 2 games, Toronto did. Now, Ottawa came back and paid it back.
They did.
And got an OT on Sanderson, but they made it rather academic. I mean, Shabbat on the 1 draw, the screenshot, up 1-0. The shorty, I mean, they're 0 for 7 in their last power play. Everybody was talking about the power play in overtime in Game 4. Well, big deal. What have they done with it since anyway? They haven't scored a power play goal since. So a lot of questions need to be answered by Toronto tonight. Otherwise, they're going back home for Game 7. Can you imagine?
Do you think the fix is in?
No.
Do you think that? Oh yeah, this is like the Chicago
In what
Black
way?
Sox.
In
The
what
Chicago
way?
Black Sox.
In what
They
way?
got a bunch of guys throwing the game. There's some guy is giving them money.
For financial gain?
Yeah, or something like that. Okay, I don't know. You know what? I'm just making up shit.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. But it's exciting for Ottawa. They get another home game. It looked like they were seconds away from being swept.
Yeah.
And now they get another home game, and it's just nuts. I've been listening to the radio here, driving over here. It's just nuts going on at the CTC tonight. Big screen out back, all the bars downtown, the Red Mile, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
It's a big thing, man.
It's too bad it's so fucking cold.
Really? It's not cold out.
What are you talking about? It's like fucking 3 degrees.
No, man, it's like 11. It's warm out.
Really?
I walked in this.
Listen, I went outside. I could cut diamonds with my nipples. That's how fucking cold it was. Okay.
Was that like 6 this morning or something?
It was earlier today.
Now they are calling for maybe some rain tonight, but no, it's not cold at all out right now. I don't think. I think most of us wouldn't find it.
Well, you know what I'm looking forward to? Do you remember when Ottawa actually made it to the finals and we had the tailgates at the what was that?
Yeah, 2007.
It was the Scotiabank place at the time or whatever. You know what? That was awesome. That is, you know what?
Well,
I'll tell you, nice weather.
Yeah.
Go have a barbecue outside. You know what I mean? Go back in. Go to the rink. See the game. I tell you, you know what? Florida. They got an NHL. They got 2 NHL teams in Florida.
Yeah,
fucking
and
warm
the
down
final
there.
5 years in a row, man.
I know. Well, I honestly. So let's move on to that.
Yeah.
So this was a surprise to me that the Panthers just fucking walked, basically, over Tampa.
Yeah.
Because Tampa was a hell of a team, but in my opinion, from what I saw, the goaltending was not up to its normal, extraordinary play.
Well, you look at the game winner last night, scored by Bennett, coming out of the box. They serve a penalty, they kill it. He comes out of the box. It's basically an elongated 2-on-1, if you will, because of the width he was over on the right-hand side. He picks it in. He's got all the room to move in. He fired, that shot, that's an all-world shot. Under the blocker, over the pad, like Vasilevskiy, he's out at the top of the crease. He's been one of the best goaltenders in the NHL in his time. He's a Stanley Cup winner. He's a Conn Smythe Trophy winner. He got beat by a better shot. And then they lose to Aaron, who's become maybe the most unheralded second or third line center currently in the playoffs right now, scores the insurance goal. They get a 6-1, end up winning 6-3, win the series in 5. And I don't think anybody predicted that, Chris, but I think most people probably predicted Florida to win the series.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
However, with Tampa, you just never really know. But it's the other things that went on. Ekblad comes back from a 20-game suspension for steroids, plays 2 games and gets suspended again. That was vicious. The hit on Hagel. And, of course, the Florida fans are going, well, too goddamn bad. Look at the hit he put on Barkov.
Well,
and
you know what? Again, so that's something I want to talk about.
Serious.
There's been a lot of bad hits this playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, across. And you bring up the Barkov thing. And you know what? And as I was, when I was editing...
And Hagel got suspended for that.
Yeah. Okay. And he deserved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
But we had talked about the Kachuk hit on that hit.
Now you got 5.
He got the 5, but
Yeah.
the reason they did the 5, and I was thinking about this, and we never got into it, but they did the 5 so that they could review it. That was like, I think that's why they called the 5, because really and truly, and then when they decided that they did a quick, they didn't go any further with it. Now the difference between the Barkov hit and that hit, and why, and just for people out there, one of the reasons why they didn't suspend Tkachuk was because Barkov never touched the puck.
Right.
Whereas Gensel had just dished it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference, because somebody asked me about that, and
blatant hit versus a blatant cheap shot.
That's right. Exactly.
Which brings in, when we get to it, Schenn on Scheifele.
Well, that's where we're going. We're piping it out. Okay. We're going to hang on a second, some natural gas. Okay. I didn't really do that. I was just using that as a segue.
I got you.
Okay. So, but we're going to head out. We're going to pipe ourselves out to Manitoba now.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to talk about the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
Okay. Which, frankly, have not had a lot of fuel. There's not.
No, not a lot.
They've not been.
Fuel for
they've
the
not
Jets.
been as impressive as they should have been. But that leads us to the another hit.
Yeah. Well, first of all, huge win for Winnipeg last night. I mean, they go to St. Louis, get absolutely walked, and Hellebuck's gets pulled twice. He made an incredible save last night, probably the save of the series so far for him. And he still allows 3 goals. Yeah. But they get the W last night. But all everybody is talking about is the 2 hits on Scheifele. The first one that was initiated by Schenn, with no penalty on the play at all for anything. And then the second one where Scheifele kind of ran into Fasca and absorbed the hit, which ultimately led to him leaving the game. Just driving over here was announced that Scheifele will not travel to St. Louis. Okay. So he's out of the lineup for sure. So that's devastating. He's the number 1 center by far, and probably should have been in the 4 Nation. You can make the argument anyways. Doesn't matter. Canada won. So, but I mean, he's all world, and now he's out for the next game in St. Louis. So the Schenn hit. Well, I'll deal with that one first. Okay. And then we can talk about maybe the war of words between the coaches after, because that's very entertaining.
It is.
Between our
how many fines are related to that? Like, how many fines will they get?
They won't get any because I don't think so. I think it was kept down on the down low enough where they each made a comment directed toward that particular hit or hits. Yeah. Nothing against the officiating, and nothing. Well, yes, it was. Yeah. I mean, Arneal did allude to the fact that that it wasn't even looked at. So he did take a shot, but he didn't really make it directive, in my opinion, enough where I think he's going to face a fine. However, look at Scheifele had just touched the puck. You're talking about what happened with Gensel when Tkachuk hit him. Yeah. Scheifele had touched the puck even less. It's the nature or the force of the hit by Schenn, and I think that's got Arneal really pissed off.
Well, because it becomes charging at that point.
It looked like you could have called something. Plus, his skates came off the ice, and I know what the benefit. You've played hockey long enough. Anybody who's played that, if you make any contact, it's quite common for your skates to come up. I mean, it's the physicality of making a hit when you're coming in, especially these are big bodies. Schen's a big man. Yeah. He's coming in making a hit, and he came off the ice. Well, you're going.
The question is the question that, and this is the issue, is did he leave the ice before his physical contact? Yeah. Because you're right. Okay. So but a lot of guys will do the jump. Like that little extra.
Sure. Yeah, Tom Wilson.
Yeah. No, but it happens more often than not, and it's a natural reaction. It's not even something that sometimes you think about. It's just one of those things. Fuck, I'm going to brace. I'm going to be hitting somebody.
But you can consider the source too. Yeah. And I don't think Schen's known. He's a physical guy. Him and his brother both. There's only been 7 brothers to play 1,000 games in the NHL. They're 2 of them. Yeah. And they deserve all the accolades they've got. Their careers have been very interesting when you break it all down historically and all that. At the end of the day, he's a very physical hockey player. Right. They've been targeting Scheifele, and rightfully so. He's their go-to guy. Montgomery says, well, hold on a second. He didn't leave. He played 6 more minutes after the Scheifele hit. It was the Fasca hit after he left. Or Arneal counters,
that's right.
You saw it. Says, well, I didn't realize Monty's a doctor. and I can tell when Scheifele got hurt, which is pretty funny. At the end of the day, now it's not funny. Scheifele's not traveling. So what do you think? Did Schenn deserve a penalty on the play?
You know what? In my opinion, no.
I don't think so either.
Okay.
First of all, you can't call interference. The puck's there.
That's right.
Number two, so what do you call?
Well, so the only other call would be, we're charging.
Yeah.
Right?
But he didn't take 3 strides. Or 4 even. He didn't charge into him.
Well, and that's so
I don't know what you call.
Well, I know.
I don't know what the hell you call.
It's it's
sucks,
a hard one.
But it's a vicious game, especially come playoff time. And we have a tendency to forget year to year just the other incidents that happen all the time in hockey. They go back. I can quote most of them.
Well, Christ, a year ago today, or pretty close to a year ago today, and they just cleared the young guy, by the way. The hit at the blue line where the guy's skate came around and cut the guy's neck in the UK.
In the UK, yeah.
In the UK,
yeah.
That was just a year ago.
Yeah.
And so he was just cleared. They're not going to continue with charges against the guy.
Yeah.
But things happen, and you know what? This is one of. I mean, I don't want to quote Clint Malarchuk, but shit happens. You know what I mean? Like. These things do happen. It's a dangerous sport with fucking knives on your feet, and
weapons in your hands,
and incredibly fit and strong guys. In the peak of their,
they're all alpha males, almost every one.
Well, and in the peak of their physicality, what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And hurling around at 40 and 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean on the ice.
Yeah.
It's amazing that more guys aren't hurt more often.
At the end of the day, I think what was done on the ice was right.
Yeah, I know. I would agree.
I don't think that Schenn deserved a penalty. And I know his skates came off the ice, but I just think in the normal course of making contact, that happens 90% of the time. And
But that being said, I feel for the Jets.
It was a vicious hit.
I feel for the Jets.
I do too.
I would like to listen. I want to see the Jets, move forward. Mm-hmm. Okay. At the end of the day, if I have an opportunity to choose between two teams, okay. Ever since Gary Unger retired, I don't cheer for the Blues. Okay.
Well, he
Bernie
played for some other teams after.
Yeah, I know.
And Bernie did too. But they were long-time Blues, and that's a great name to throw up. He did hold the Ironman record at one point in 914 games until Doug Jarvis passed it, and now of course it's held by Yandel, I guess.
No, I thought it's
it's Kessel. It's Phil Kessel.
Phil Kessel.
Kessel beat Yandel.
Yeah. Shopsy's Kessel.
Yeah. Kessel went over 1,000 games. I don't even think he's filed his papers. I think he's still hoping to. Whoops! I'm dropping your.
You're busting things up here. Jesus.
Got that, bud? There you go.
There. Those are some dogs playing cards.
Very, very. Can we get that in the picture? Is that in the picture?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
It's
but
a
we got that.
classic shot.
Yeah. It is. You know what?
Classic shot.
Anytime you've got dogs and you personify them by playing cards
and
or pool
they drink
and whatever.
Yeah, they got pints.
Yeah, they got of course. Yeah. So anytime you have that, that's great art.
Yeah.
That and Elvis paintings.
Elvis.
Or velvet Elvis
paintings.
Can't
go wrong.
You can't go wrong with those things. Okay. So we're gonna chug. We'll come back. We're gonna finish on the Habs because they're done, right? Mm-hmm. So sorry.
Well, they are.
I didn't mean
unless
to
it's
spoil
the best
it.
of 9.
I didn't mean to spoil it. Okay, so we're gonna chug.
Changing the rules.
Fuck that. We're gonna chug. We're gonna take a train because we don't have a pipeline.
Right.
Okay, out to Edmonton. If you had a pipeline, you wouldn't have to take a train, and then you wouldn't have these great fucking disasters like in Lac Magnifique there or whatever. Okay, or Magna, whatever. Okay, so anyways, I don't want to like harper on it, but we're heading out to Alberta.
Yeah.
Okay, so Edmonton Oilers are now, in my opinion, in the driver's seat.
Well, no question.
Right?
I didn't see it coming.
You thought they were going to get...
I thought they were definitely not going to win this series. When Ekholm went out, I said they'll be competitive, but this LA team, everyone talks about this being the best Leaf team in the Matthews era. I felt in the last, since they won their last cup, the Los Angeles Kings, I felt this was the best addition that they've had since 2014. And they won the first 2 games, Chris, and they were totally in control.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. I don't get to see LA very often. Like I don't see the games, right? Yeah. Okay. And so I didn't have any idea. Okay, you see stats, you see this, but I had no idea that they were as good as they were until I saw the first game, and I was like, "Ooh, this is a solid freaking team." Yeah, and big boys.
Big boys.
Okay. Yeah. And so I was like,
good mix of vets and youth.
Well, yeah, you know what? And like we were saying, Doughty. I was so impressed with his play.
Energizing.
You know what I mean?
Just keeps going. And same with Kopitar.
And he's actually, a lot of people don't know this, but he actually played during the time of the original 6. People don't know that. He was, and then he later on, he moved on. He ended up played for the Oakland Seals. Yeah. And then he's So
it does seem like he's been around that long.
He has been. But, have you seen? He's actually lost all his teeth. And not from sticks, from rot. That's how old they are.
Yeah. Him and Mick Jagger.
So he's anyway. They played really well.
Yeah.
And but
till the last game.
Well, you know what? I think
that was bizarre. That first period, I just couldn't believe it. It's like someone forgot to tell LA, hello, the game started.
Well, no. I just think that the McDavid, Draisaitl train kicked into gear. You know what I mean? That whole whole team.
They did nothing the last game until the empty net goal. And it was it's the only time they got on the scoreboard. It was your secondary scoring, if you will, that contributed on those first 2 goals. And it's just a way. They outshot LA something like 19-6 or 20-6 in the first period. The ice was tilted like that. It was a miracle they weren't up 2 or 3-0. And LA's hanging around looking available, but Edmonton just really didn't give them hardly any room to breathe.
Well, we'll see tonight, right?
We'll see tonight if they can close the deal, because it's been 4 years in a row. I can tell you, go online, LA fans are losing their minds.
Really?
Losing their minds on the fact that they could be losing to Edmonton again when they won the first 2 games, when it looked like they finally had a roster, with Ekholm out, the Oilers' number 1 defenseman out, and it just looked like, regardless of Connor McDavid, let's be honest, he hasn't got a Stanley Cup yet, notwithstanding the unbelievable play he exhibited last year in the playoffs. And at the end of the day, it looked like things were ready for LA to make a move here and start to go down the playoff path that they did so successfully before in the middle part of the 2000s here, winning those 2 cups. And now maybe not so much. We'll see. Yeah. Like I said, we'll see.
Well, we'll see
what happens tonight.
I'm excited to watch that. And I'll tell you, the other night I stayed up to watch it all.
Good.
I'm not as old as I thought I was, but oh my God, they got to move these teams into a different time zone or something. This is ridiculous. This whole. Okay, and I like the fact that I can watch one game and then move on to the next game.
It's usually over by 1 a.m. at the latest.
It was 3 o'clock.
What the hell are you talking about?
No, sorry, that was the election. Sorry.
3 o'clock.
It was 3 o'clock.
Sorry. Before that.
No, I had a rough week. Eh?
No, I was still counting.
I was up to
in the P and riding at 3 a.m.
They're still counting them now.
There's a couple polls still open.
You know what I mean? That's the. Well, it was really hard to count them because someone kept stuffing new ones into the box.
Yeah.
And I actually, fuckers.
Well, it took longer to go through everybody's ballot because there were 91 names.
It's ridiculous.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what.
No, and only in that one riding.
Only the one riding.
And only in Pierre Poilievre's ride. I mean, you cannot, anybody, I don't care who the fuck you are, you cannot justify that kind of manipulation.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. And making it difficult. And there are a lot of people who were You know what I mean? Older people. I had a buddy of mine, okay, who his mom voted, and she called. She goes like, I hope I did the right thing. Okay, I hope I did. Like, I don't know if because with all those things and all those check marks, they're looking at it. The mind does play tricks on you, whether or not which side are you going to put your check mark on? Where are you going to go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I'm not saying that was certainly not the sole reason. The gerrymandering, the ballot stuffing, the all of that, the vilification, the fact, all the things that go on here in this, manipulated election.
Well, you think they think the Libs are going to roll 4 years here?
No. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen.
Tell me.
Here's what's going to happen. So Pierre Poilievre is going to take over. He's going to be a by-election with either Cheryl Gallant, okay, from Renfrew.
Yeah.
She'll step down, or there's a
guy out west
in Edmonton. Yeah, in Edmonton has offered. So both have offered, is my understanding, to step down to allow a by-election to happen. Okay. At which time will come. Now, if the Liberals have not stepped up their policy, okay, and really actually started to build a fucking pipeline, okay, by this point, okay, what will happen is that it will trigger when they do their budget.
Yep.
Okay, when they introduce the budget, the budget is automatically a vote of confidence, right? And so if the budget does not pass, the government falls, as it did in 1979 with Joe Hu.
Yeah.
Joe Hu. Okay. So to that end.
But Chris, the budget will balance itself.
Yeah. Fuck. Right. And you know what they're going to pay for all this new build, everything like that. Not with oil and gas money, not with minerals, not with. We're not going to do
Nevada tickets from the Legion.
Probably. That's probably. You know what? No. You know what? They're going to tax the shit out of anybody who has any money, who's already paid tax on their money. Well, okay, but you know what? I don't have a fucking pension, and no, neither do you. But no. I don't have a pension to sit back and say, okay, at least I'm taken care of. I don't have that. So I have to, whatever I have, I got to keep hold of. I've paid tax on everything already.
Singh has one now, I think.
Wow, he never needed it. He was a millionaire before he was the millionaire NDP leader. That was the thing. That's the most hilarious thing. The guy had a Rolex, and he's the leader of the NDP. Like, how fucking ridiculous is that? Oh. Like, I'm sorry, I grew up when the NDP was Ed Broadbent. Yeah. John Rodriguez was my grade school principal. Okay. Yeah. And he was a member of Parliament for a long. I mean, these were guys. They were working class guys who had passion, who believed in things, and So I Jughead Singh. Come on. Like, I don't know, over the years, like, if you watch the transition, you see guys, like, you watch people who become the president, right? Well, and all of a sudden they get gray hair. They start out with dark hair, and then by the time they're, like, in there, their hair is gray. Jagmeet Singh, okay, started off, and he has the turban, right? He wears the turban. That turban has, it's 7 feet tall. He looks like fucking Marge Simpson now. Like, it's unbelievable. And I'm not, no offense, I honor the guy for wearing the turban, but really, does it have to get that tall? Like, I mean.
Well, he's gone fishing full time now, so.
Wow, let's just hope.
He took that party right into the ground, all those not supporting. We could have had Poilievre as prime minister a couple years ago.
And we wouldn't be in the position that we are in with the United States right now.
Yeah.
And I want to say something about that, because Kristen's down in the United States right now.
Yeah.
Do you know how welcoming everybody in the United States was for people going down? Amazing.
Yeah.
At the border, there was no threats of you're going to be arrested. All this stuff that they're talking about, okay, of people, they're coming to the border and they're having problems and this and that, and their visa and this and that. It's all people who have scammed the system in some way, and there was like hair on that issue, okay?
Yeah.
It flags. Everyone else is being treated like I've crossed the border at least 7 times since the issue.
Right.
Okay? And I've never been treated in anything but respectfully.
Yeah.
Okay? And you know what? To have people in our press, in our CBC, and the like, going on and saying negative things about Americans and the U.S. border people and this and that. It didn't do anything. It's just lies, and you're propagating myth and hate, right? And I don't like it. I don't like it at all, and I'm embarrassed actually at that behavior. It drives me fucking batty.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to La Belle Province.
Yep.
Okay, the original separatist province in this country. Okay, before
Alberta
and Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Okay, and Manitoba too. Okay, so before the West separated, we had the upstarts in Quebec.
Yes.
Okay.
Who lost every referendum, by the way? So.
That's right. And by the way, I'm going to tell you this. It's pronounced Quebec. Quebec, right?
Quebec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Quebec.
Quebec.
Yeah. Quebec.
Yeah, Quebec.
But if you're Francophone, you say Quebec.
I suppose.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay. But it's not Quebec.
It's well, you don't say Quebec.
No, I was correct. Did I tell you this?
No.
So this happened to be in the United States, and it's this guy who is of French Canadian heritage. Okay. He has a name like it's Gauthier.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But they pronounce it Gautier.
Oh.
Okay. Oh yeah, my name's Gautier. Really? How do you spell that? Like Gauthier. Okay. And he goes. So I said, and he was asking me where Ottawa was.
Yeah.
And I said it's on the Ontario-Quebec border.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's pronounced Quebec. And I thought he was actually joking, but he was fucking serious.
Yeah.
He thought that's how it was pronounced.
Right.
So I stabbed him. No, I didn't stab him. And then I said, no, it's Quebec. And I went on and okay. And he says, well, I'm French Canadian. I said, really? And then I said, it's pas français. Well, back 150, 200 years ago, somebody who lived in Quebec came down, the Gautiers, right, and changed their name. They became American and whatever, and they live up in the Dakotas area.
Sure.
And what's the other state, like Wisconsin and I don't know, that whole area down there. I don't know. It's like I understand the map. I just can't come to think of it right now. I know it's south of Lake of the Woods. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyhow, to that end, let's talk about the separatists.
Well,
party.
they're not the separatists, obviously. But,
okay.
Yes,
the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much better. Yes.
Yeah.
Who's got the most Canadian name in the NHL? Obviously, Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
So,
the Halifax Mooseheads.
Well, they're not in the NHL.
Oh, right, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, the Habs had a hell of a season, and that was going to be said by all of us as Hab fans with the defeat looming. I'll tell you what, man, they didn't go quiet in the night. If you watched that game last night, those first 10 minutes, they were all over Washington. Yeah. They deserved a better fate. There's no doubt. Logan Thompson.
But they had 2 goals and 2 shots.
They.
Washington did.
Yeah. Well, the first one was Ovi on a power play, which he has done 350 times. And, the second one was kind of a broken play. Caulfield missed picking up his man. Chychrun bounced it off Doba's skate into the corner. Yeah. Not a great goal. Not a goal really that you could really put a ton of fault on anybody. Yeah. It was they're up 2-0, where Montreal should have at least had the 1 or 2 goals. It comes down to power play.
That was the cripple.
The Caps, yeah, for sure. Look, they lost to the Capitals, man. There's no shame in this here.
No.
They weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs. So, that's my point in all this. I think it's pretty obvious that going 5 games against the Caps with the games all being relatively close.
Yeah.
Like Nick Suzuki said, he's hurting when he said it. They got him post-game. He's the captain. He's got to speak. And, it sucks right now, but, we felt we could have won any game. And he's right. They could have.
Yeah.
The better team won the series. Make no mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And the Caps are full measure for it. They're first in the Eastern Conference. So it'll be interesting to see. No one even probably the New Jersey-Carolina game outside of those 2 cities and states. I don't think anybody else watched.
I never saw a single thing of it.
I did because I watch everything. But having said that, New Jersey's missing half their roster and still gave Carolina a hell of a go. I mean, we'll see how this plays out. I can't see Carolina hold much of a candle to Washington. However, Caps, Montreal, and they had their share of controversy too, right? Like it became the Tom Wilson show there in Game 4 with his hit on Carrier. There's no doubt about it. It's unfortunate that him and Jack-I only had the one shift against each other last night, and they came down in the corner. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but there was a little bit of confrontation there. And Jack-I said something to him. Tom tried to get back. They got broken up by officials, and him and Anderson never came together. They showed them in the handshake line, and they exchanged like they've known each other a long time. Well, they fought in junior. Yeah, I mean they go way back.
Now here's the question, because I know guys who have fought who actually, you know, I can say friends, but respect each other.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't get the sense that a lot of guys are feeling the same way about Wilson.
No.
But maybe they do. Like maybe.
You don't think there should have been a penalty on the Carrier hit? Do you?
No, I did. To be honest with you, I didn't think that. I mean, aside from the melee in the bench, the bench
and that
area,
was penalized perfectly.
Aside from that, I don't think there was anything that was outrageous.
No.
Right? Or egregious is the word, right?
Yeah,
or whatever.
Egregious, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything like that. So for me to be pissed with a guy for him, whatever, it's got to be something big. You know what I mean? That I feel is
sure, like
egregious. Again,
like Ekblad on Hagel. That was a brutal hit. That's a forearm with the elbow pads today, right in the jaw and face area. So they handled it. He got a 2-game suspension.
Yeah.
Come playoff time, which is which everybody says is worth double in the regular season.
Right.
And now he's coming off a 20-game suspension, but it wasn't for anything on the ice, right? It's steroids off the ice, and he's made his excuses or whatever for it.
Wow. What were his excuses, by the way?
I took stuff. I didn't realize it had a steroid component in the medication. He sang the same song and dance that everybody that gets caught with steroids says. Maybe
it was
true.
Cough medicine? Is that what it was?
I don't know. I didn't even really read that much into it.
He didn't. You know what? Like,
I don't care.
How did they catch him? Like, was it?
Well, there's testing.
Is there?
Oh yeah, everybody's tested.
Yeah.
It's.
Is it random? Like, it's not all the time, or is it
random? But random? You're given like.
Yeah, they go in.
Like a day.
When the reporters go in, they see his nuts have shriveled up to nothing. Like they go, listen, maybe we need to send the testers in.
I mean, look, there's Barry Bonds, and then there's everybody else. The guy's head actually grew. I mean, come on. I mean, whatever Ekblad used, I don't know, but it's ironic.
Hang on, so you can certainly you can actually grow, because I if there is, I would like to get some steroids for my cock. I want to get.
Sorry, folks. I opened it. I put it on. That was a T-ball shot right there.
Well,
that's Chris playing a little T-ball.
I absolutely listen. I don't know anybody out there. Even John Holmes would like a bigger cock. Okay, I don't care where you are, who you are. You get to the point where it's like, yeah, you know what? I would really like to be. I would like to be a freak of nature.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I want moving forward. Okay. Yeah. I don't want people to say, oh, he's an amusing guy. I want to go, wow, have you seen his hammer? That's what I want.
All right,
but being of Irish descent, or as they say, one of the little people.
Yeah.
We move on.
We move on. We're probably just about done, I guess. But I mean, I'll finish on this with the Habs because the youth on the team. The last time they had this type of youth was been pointed out was 1987.
Right.
When they won the Cup in '86, they set an NHL record for the most rookies on the roster, and then subsequently the most rookies to get actually their name engraved on the Cup, because not every rookie that came up from Sherbrooke got their name on the Cup.
You need 5 games?
No. You're supposed to play either half the regular season or at least 1 game in the final.
Oh, okay.
But you can petition.
In the final, not the playoff.
Yeah,
right,
in the final.
Right,
now you can petition, and a lot of players have, not a lot, but a number have, by their GMs
right.
and ownership groups or coaches and whatnot. You can petition, and like Eddie Olczyk and Mike Hartman with the Rangers in '94, and when Boston won the Cup in 2011. They petitioned a few guys as well and weren't successful. So, it goes both ways. They try and be very judicial about it.
You just got to know the engraver.
That would help. Yet there's been so many mistakes.
Slide them a 50. You know
Slide
what I mean?
of something. Anyway.
You know what I mean? It'd be a U.S. dollar because Canadians are worth not worth anything.
Pass the Shea Paris or something, probably get it done.
Yeah.
But you know what? At the end of the day, and everyone knew that every Hab fan was going to say this. It absolutely was a spectacular season.
Yeah.
Nobody expected them. Nobody expected them to make the playoffs. Nobody expected them to win a game against Washington. Nobody expected the games to be close. They gave them all they could handle. You could see where the veteran play and the older play of the established Caps were the difference. They got it done, especially last night. Montreal had this power plays. Didn't get it done. Caps scored twice on the power play. Got it done, and the better team won. But Montreal and their fans should hold their head high. I, for one, cannot wait for the start of next season. Damodoff looks like a beauty. Hudson's going to win the Calder. And the future is very, 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 very bright.
So just to go back, I'm gonna backtrack to the beginning of the season. So what you're saying is you were wrong at the beginning of the season because you said they wouldn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I was wrong.
So you were wrong.
Yeah.
So there it is. Lee McGuire was wrong.
Yeah.
And on that, we're gonna end. All right.
Come back next show where I'll be wrong again about something. I guarantee you. I'm picking Ottawa to win tonight. So what do you think?
Do you know what? I want it. You know what? Here's the thing.
Make a call.
If I wish it to happen, maybe it'll come true. Like I'm like a liberal voter. Okay? So I'm gonna say it's gonna be the Senators. Okay?
All right.
It'll be the Senators.
All right.
Okay. And you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna stuff that net like a fucking ballot box. That's what they're gonna do. All right. This has been Offside with Haas and McGuire. I'm Haas.
I'm McGuire. G'day.